Okay, so with about 10 minutes to spare here, I think we would be silly to not start this. We're going to do problem 4.1a. We are going to get rid of a few components of it, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. So we're going to start today with the worksheet. I would assume you have this much in the worksheet already. Yes? So I'm on page 199 in the book, and you've got your big folded out page from your workbook. So before we do anything else, let's just mark up some of our columns. I want you to put a star by trial balance, adjusted trial balance, income statement, balance sheet. And that star means stuff will show up in their normal balance columns. So cash has a normal balance of a debit. So all the way across the board, that $4,500 would show up as a debit on the starred ones. The adjustments oftentimes are opposite of the normal balance. Oftentimes, sometimes they're not, just so it offsets things. So I think for ease of like, okay, I get this, let's just do cash right away. Cash is not impacted by adjustments. That's why I can safely get in my car, cruise right through my adjustments, drop that $4,500 in as a debit, an adjusted trial balance. It's not an income statement account, rather it's a balance sheet account, so it's going to show up in the balance sheet debit column as well. So that's what I mean by the stars. Okay. Going back to this, people could argue, well, trial balance, my debits and credits equal. Aren't I done? Isn't this good? No, because we have all those adjustments that happened. So we need to adjust our accounts to show what was used or what happened, and then we can do an adjusted trial balance. I'm on page 200 now. Other data, 1, 2, 3, 4. It looks like we're doing 4 adjusting entries, which will be labeled 1, 2, 3, 4. No, they will be labeled A, B, C, and D. Okay. Let's just start. A physical count reveals only $550 of our roofing supplies are on hand. So if I look at supplies a minute, we started with $2,000. Someone figured out we only have $550 left. So did we use some of them? Yes. So we're going to adjust the difference. Here's what was left. Here's what remained. So if I take 2,000 minus 550 that was left, that shows me what part of my adjusting entry is going to be that we used. So if I drew a little T account for supplies, I see it's got a normal debit balance of $2,000. What was left was $550. Now, the reason we had to credit that with its difference is to offset it. Had we debited for $1,450, what would the problem have been? It would have gone up, and we used some. So that's why we credit it to show what was used. I see a credit. What has to be partnered with it? A debit. Where? Supplies, expense. Okay, now you're going to, I have to, in order to show you this, I have to show everything here. I'll just highlight. So I've got my credit partnered with my debit, labeled A. And if it would help you to highlight what I just did so you can see those two work, great. This might be pretty fuzzy to you because we literally did this a week ago. More than a week ago. You're going to do this with the B set. You're going to do this with the C set. You're going to do this with the practice test. So you will do 3 more worksheets. You will feel pretty good about it. All right, let me cover up and let's kind of go back in again. What is our next adjusting entry? Depreciation for March is $250. Is that what was left, or was that what happened? That's what happened. So I would find depreciation expense down here. I'll switch highlighter colors. Depreciation was $250. The nice part there is they told you the number instead of you having to figure out the number. I see a debit, so what has to be partnered with it? A credit. Where? What? There you go. Accumulated depreciation has to be the credit. We're labeling A, B, soon to be C, and D because numbers would kind of throw things off a little bit. And I see a lot of you highlighting in different colors. That's going to be really helpful for you. Next one, unearned revenue amounted to $210 for March. Did they give you the number? Yeah, they did. What we did here is we turned unearned revenue into revenue. So you'll see revenue debited. No, where are we at here? Where's our unearned? I suppose I could look at C. Unearned turned into earned. Thank you. Unearned turned into earned. I mean, you guys remember that adjusting entry. We're just plunking it in a different format. We turned that liability. Normally it has a credit balance. You can see that it had a $550 balance. We did some of our work, so we debited it. We'll tell more of that story maybe tomorrow. And they must be telling us our salaries and wages. Accrued salaries are $700. That means our employees work $700 worth of time. We just haven't paid them yet, just because the year ended right in the middle of their pay period. So that payable will increase. Salaries and wages payable, salaries and wages expense. We have a debit, we have a credit. Here's the problem. Like if this isn't making sense to you, then we're going to finish our worksheet and use all of that worksheet to base our the next set of stuff on. So if this, keep in mind we're going to do this more tomorrow. We'll do this over the weekend. You can rewatch the videos. You can look in the book. You can set up an appointment with me if any of this doesn't make sense to you. So we've got these debits and credits. We're going to, in a vertical column format, add them up and make sure that they equal each other. Notice we've got totals actually 3 times. Do you have all of that in already? Good. This section is what you came in with. This section is just for the adjustments. And this shows, of course, net income. Going into a test, you would have all of this set up for you already. Since we have time, I think we should extend over all of our adjusted trial balance numbers, and that's a good place to stop. So this is where, when I taught you this, we'd get in our little cash car and hit the gas. Do we have any stopping points to pick up people or drop stuff off or kick people out of the car? Do you guys remember doing that now? I know it's kind of a dorky analogy, but you can visually see that. So let's go on to, are these numbered? Are the lines numbered? Okay, so is cash on line 1? Okay, so go to line 2. Let's jump in our AR car. We jump in, $3,200 worth of stuff sitting in there. Hit the gas. Do we have to stop anywhere in the adjustments? Nope, so we just sail through and we put that $3,200. Don't worry about what's going on over here, but we'll do that tomorrow. Okay, we're only focusing here right now for class, the remainder of class. If it was a debit under trial balance, it's going to be a debit under adjusted trial balance. We started that. Okay. All right, we get in our supply car. $2,000 worth of stuff in there. Hit the gas. We stop at a credit. Are we kicking people out or are we adding them in? Kicking them out. $2,000 minus what we used equals what was left. If you're still fuzzy on where debit and credit balances are, whew, this is hard. I think of just with my 5th grader. If you can't do his math facts, fractions are hard. Okay, if you don't know the debits and credits, this is hard. Okay, next asset. We're jumping in our equipment car. $11,000, hit the gas. We don't have any stops. We don't add or kick people out. So we still have $11,000 balance as we cruised through that section. Accumulated depreciation on equipment. Although mine's on 2 lines, I bet yours is on 1, right? We jump in that car. Why does it have a credit balance and it's an asset? What's going on there? It's a contra. It offsets the value of the equipment. We jump in the credit car. Cruise through. Are we adding or kicking people out? Oh, the bell. Shoot. Okay, we'll stop right there. We added, meaning, and that makes sense, the accumulated depreciation pile grew a little bit. We will pick up right there where we left off. Carrie, if you're listening, I hope you got all that done when you come to class tomorrow.